They say it's just inflation, but if you're struggling to afford groceries, rent, or even heating, ask yourself who's actually benefiting from all this. Because this crisis didn't just happen, it's being profited from.
You're not being told the truth about the cost of living crisis. This crisis isn't inevitable. When prices go up, someone somewhere else is making a profit out of it. Whether it's food billionaires profiteering from your weekly shop, or oil barons ripping off your energy bills, inflation means your money is lining someone else's pockets.
When a newspaper costs more than your lunch, you know something's broken. £10, 50 pence for what? Let this next clip blow your mind.
So, at Homerton Hospital, went to WH Smith, brought a meal deal, 2 crisps, 1 drink, bloody £10.50. Oh, and a newspaper. What in this bag is £10.50? What is £10.50?
When the price of chocolate bars becomes a symbol of national failure, you know it's deeper than just inflation. This next voice sums up exactly what millions in the UK are feeling, but no one's listening to.
What in the broken Britain cost of living is actually going on in our country? Now, we've got families out there, they can't even afford to feed themselves as well as the children. They're choosing like heating over actual eating and stuff like that when it's cold, and it's getting out of control. You've got companies like Tesco, you've got Sainsbury's, you've got Morrison's, you've got Asda. They're taking the piss. Absolutely taking the piss. Because you can't tell me that the main factories like McVitie's or anywhere like that, they're charging these ridiculous prices. To make a chocolate bar can't cost no more than 10p. 10p maximum. They're in the shops now for 120, 130, 140, 150. Now, these guys, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, and all your red supermarkets, they've got serious buying power. They name their price to these people because these people want their products on the shelf. So they're not paying, let's say, no more than a few pence, more than what they're making it for people like McVitie's. It's them that's the greed, and it is getting out of control. There needs to be a cap put on so families can survive and families can eat. There's people out there, there's families out there, the parents work 2 full-time jobs, one each. They're flat out. They don't even get family time as such because it's time to get home, washed up, cooked. It's time for bed. Like they can't even afford a date night, people, these days because of our government and the greed and the tax that's going on. Tag in the comments. Let me know. Put a comment in if you actually agree with me. And you Kevins and Karens thinking, because you've got £500,000 in the bank or something and you sat comfortable. Well, not every fucker's the same, are they? So piss off with your stupid comments, right? And go and live in your little own world.
Aldi might hand you the cheapest basket, but let's not pretend packing your own groceries is some kind of discount miracle. When even basics like eggs and coffee are climbing faster than your wages, cheap is just a nicer way of saying less painful.
Does having to pack your own groceries at Aldi ease the pain of rising costs? The May inflation report showed food prices are still climbing faster than inflation overall. Eggs, chocolate and coffee the most, but the prices of other basics like fruit and vegetables, while easing, are still up on this time last year. So, Consumer Group Choice sent undercover shoppers to 104 supermarkets across the country to buy these 14 grocery items. And while each supermarket had their own deals, the cheapest basket of goods, without taking specials into account, was found at.
When opening a door feels like burning money, that's not just parenting, that's poverty. This next one hits differently because it shows just how deep the UK's energy crisis runs, even in our childhood memories.
In England, because gas and electricity is so expensive, like it's ridiculously expensive. For instance, when I was in England, let's say if I opened the door and I was a kid and then my friend was there standing on the doorstep, I'd say to my friend, hey, how you doing? Talk to him. First thing my mum would say, my mother, she'd say, close the door, you're letting the heat out. And I'd be like, oh, come on man, come in, close the door. And the first time I realised how much abundance of stuff is actually here compared to in England was when I got off the plane. One of my friends, Diana, actually picked me up from the airport. I go into her apartment. It's really hot. It's like Barbados in her apartment. It's so hot. She opens the windows And they said, yeah, I'm just going to let the heat out. I was like, what the heck? Like, how can you just let this heat out? And she was like, well, it's just gas. Like, no, we got loads of it because there's so much of stuff we don't need to worry about.
Okay, up until now we've been talking about the crisis, but what happens when ranting turns into reality? This next speaker says it's straight, no one's coming to save you. You either sit in the mess or start planning your way out.
This is the problem. Victim mentality. This is BS. Society shouldn't have to earn more because government and big companies are upping their greediness. UK is absolutely ruined. But no one's coming to save you. This is the thing, you can't change it. So why moan about it? If you can't physically or do anything about it to change it, why continue moaning? It's like being that individual that just goes, oh, it's so tough, it's everyone else's fault. Okay, we agree with you, but what's the plan of action? You can't change it. We have to agree on that. Big companies, Texaco, BP, Nike, Amazon. You know, we can blame all these people. By the way, Amazon employs 38,000 plus people that all have jobs. So like, you know, we're pointing fingers at these big corporations that employ tens of thousands of people to actually supply and feed their family. You know, so like we're pointing the finger. Yes, the UK is not in the best situation and everyone wants to go to Dubai to avoid tax. But what, I don't get this. Like, what are you doing? Are you just going to carry on moaning about it and do nothing? Moan, but do nothing. Moan, but do nothing. It's really tough. Everything's going up. It's the government. Everyone's really greedy who's rich. Right, well, everyone who's greedy, everyone who's rich isn't all greedy, right? Not everyone is just robbing from the poor. But if you want to change your life and you don't want to say stuff like this, or society shouldn't have to earn more money and you want your life to be different, be proactive. Again, I ask you very simply, what's the plan then? Like, what are you going to do about it? You know, I don't come from a family of money. I've never been given anything, but I knew I wanted more. So the only person that's going to do that and the only person that's going to save me is me. If I want change, no one else is going to do it for me. I have to change. If I want to learn a new skill set, I have to learn. If I want to do something new in my life, I have to learn it and then apply it and then rinse and repeat and be consistent and be disciplined and apply sacrifice and actually do it day in, day in, day out. But there's no point doing the whole pity party, playing your own violin and keep going on about this whole, it's the corporations, it's the government, big companies. Yeah, but what are you going to do about it? Like, are you going to go knocking on the door of Amazon and be like, by the way, you're crippling everyone else? You're not going to do that though, are you? Are you going to go knock on number 10 and be like, hey, number 10, you know, it's really tough right now. You know, you're stealing all the money. You're not going to do that. So why don't you focus on you and go and make moves and put a plan together and go, yes, it can be tough. But the last 100 financial years could have told me this, by the way, because I could have seen the dips, the highs and the lows. And maybe I should have planned a little bit better and actually been smart with my money. Maybe reevaluate the last 10 years of my life and where my expenditure's gone. But why don't we start putting a plan together? This is my whole thing, is that people like to point the finger, but don't actually want to do anything about it.
You want the younger generation to fight for this country? Cool. But maybe ask yourself, what exactly are they fighting for? Because after decades of rising rents, stagnant wages, and being told to stop eating avocados, a lot of them are done being silent.
Who the hell is going to fight for this country? That question is not aimed at the older generation who'll tell me in the comments that we should be patriotic and sacrifice our lives for them. That question is aimed at the 18 to 35-year-olds. You know, people born between 1990 and 2007 who've non-stop been let down by the country you're currently asking them to sacrifice their lives for. You know, the same ones who are overcharged to rent a small slice of this country. Do you know how much wages have increased since the 1990s in comparison to inflation? Do you know how much house prices have gone up since the 1990s? Do you know how much the schools have been underfunded since the 1990s? In other words, you've non-stop let down and voted against the best interests of all the fighting-aged people in this country. And now you're asking them to what? Sacrifice their lives for you? Yeah, they've already sacrificed not being able to own a home, not being able to have a family, not being able to get paid correctly. Sacrificed the majority of their time working non-stop to only just be able to put food on the table. They've sacrificed their health and their education. So surprisingly, we're not very patriotic anymore. And if you want us to fight in this war so much, then why don't you do it yourselves? Because if I'm being completely honest, our generation have had enough. We've had enough of tidying up use lot's messes. We've had enough of being at the bottom of the list of priorities. And if you're really upset that I'm saying all these things, you should have thought about that when you let 4.5 million children rot in poverty. When you campaigned for new houses not to be built because you really like that field. And you agreed and said nothing about university fees coming in or going up. Oh, and you really should have thought about it when our generation came to you asking for help and you said, just stop eating avocados and watching Netflix. Just to summarise, we are not going out to fight and risk our lives to come back to pay over £1,000 a month in rent in a house that's falling apart and full of black mould. Am I clear? I guess this time you'll have to pick up your own mess.
Only in Britain can it be cheaper to fly to Spain than take a train to Manchester. But wait till you hear how much a sandwich costs.
Can I just get one direct train all the way to Manchester? I've got my 16 to 25 Sabre rail card, so that should bump down the price a little bit. How much are we saying? £550. Okay. Sorry, can I just see a flight from London to Magaluf, if that's okay? It's £4.50. Okay. Hi, yeah, can I just get a G&T and some peanuts, if that's okay? Yeah, of course, that will be £35.50 for a G&T and peanuts. Okay, yeah, no, that's quite cheap for London, actually. Right, I want to save money, so we're going to get a meal deal for lunch. Okay, brilliant. Okay, Tesco, what are we saying? Okay, £35 for cheese and onion crisps and a ham sandwich, no thank you. All right, what have we got for dinner? Baked beans. Amazing. I'm actually, quite tired. I'm going to go to sleep, actually, now. Your birthday gift. Yeah. So, I definitely wasn't tight for money, and I spent long and hard getting this. Yeah, the grind was real. Are you ready for it? It's a hug. Yeah, there's 2 tickets to see that new film in the cinema, please. Do you have a student discount? Actually, yeah, we do. We have 2. Okay, well, 1 is only valid, and that will take it down by 0.5%. So, the grand total is £65. Do you want to just stand outside the cinema and we could probably hear it?
Imagine spending £33 before lunch without even splurging. Coffee, parking, and just surviving in the UK is getting painfully expensive.
Can we please talk about the cost of things? Because I spent almost £33 before I'd even got to lunchtime. Paid for parking, which was £11.50. I then paid around £10 for a return train ticket. I paid about £7 for a coffee and a croissant. However, the coffee fell out of my hand and spilt on the pavement, so I spent another £4 replacing that. All in all, before I'd even got to lunchtime, I'd already spent about £33. Bruised, because I just couldn't process why I'd already spent this much money before I'd even got to lunch. And I can't even begin to imagine what it's like for people with dependents, like children, who have a mortgage, other working families. Because relatively speaking, I'm in a place of privilege, which I'm really grateful for. I don't have dependents, I do have a mortgage, but my property is currently rented out and that covers most of the mortgage costs. I just have to offset a little bit. I live with my mum and I contribute towards household bills. Other than that, I only have direct debit, such as my gym, phone bill, and a few other bits of direct debit. But I don't have anything major. Yet I felt financially, mentally, and emotionally bruised after today. I pretty much wrote off today financially. Before my last meeting this afternoon, I went and got myself another coffee, which cost me another £3. My lunch was a salad from a really good salad place, and for up north, it's quite reasonable. It was about £10, but it was a large salad and I got a lot in it. So it was good value for money. I'm really hoping that this is an exception, because it was just today that I decided to park instead of walk to the train station. And I don't want to be criticised for wanting to buy coffees, because everybody who's working, who wants a good quality of life, who earns, should deserve joy and the little pleasures. But I have not been able to let go of today. I've been feeling really bad all day, and genuinely, I don't know how other people are managing this.
One way on the funicular in the UK costs how much do you reckon? I-50 one way. In Lithuania there's a very, very similar thing in Vilnius, and it will take you up the hill to the castle. €1 return in comparison. Wages in Lithuania are not 11 times less, so work that one out.
She's been here 3 years, and it's all just getting worse. Dirty streets, undrinkable water, prices going up everywhere. Honestly, it's no surprise she's ready to leave.
Excuse me the way I look. I just woken up. But this country, right, started to smell like I wanna go home every day. Like, I just got a message from my service providers, and then from council that everything is increasing by this percent, that percent. Why I'm paying more? The water is not even drinkable. the streets are dirty. Like, what I'm really paying for? Like, honestly, it started to smell like I want to move home. Or like anywhere else, really. So yeah, Titsu, pack your bags. We're going.
Is it just me, or does payday never feel like enough recently? Like, you spend weeks waiting for payday and then it's just gone within 2 hours. Bills, food, fuel, any debt that you're paying, boom, gone. Like, I am literally breaking down my money to the penny every single month just to feel safe. Do you remember when you were younger and payday used to feel exciting? Like, I remember going shopping, meeting up with my friends. Now it just gives me anxiety. I just want to be a kid again where all I have to worry about is my pocket money. Do you know what I mean? But seriously though, how does your payday make you feel? Do you get any excitement from it? Or are you just a bit meh? Or does it give you anxiety like me? And if so, definitely give me a little follow, because I do talk all things life and money and share lots of little hacks to try and make things a little easier.
Listen, I'm a Vietnamese living in London, and I'm always asked by my friends, how do I manage to stay afloat when the standard of living is so high? And a lot of my friends already moved out of London. To be honest with you, I have 3 jobs. I have a full-time job working as a social producer for a fashion company. I also manage a social media platform for a restaurant part-time, and I'm also earning money from TikTok by making these videos for you. You know, every day when I walk out and take public transport, I already spend £10 without even doing anything. I'm just breathing and my money is already deducted. And my mortgage is over £1,000 every month, and then you have food, spending if you want to have fun, go out with your friends. So it is a very expensive place to be. So I just wonder, for the rest of you who are living in London, how do you manage?
What in the broken Britain cost of living bullshit is this now? Look at Co-op. Oh my God. Here we are. £4.10 for this bog standard. Look how thin it is. My finger's thicker, I think. Just about, look. Unreal, £4.10 for an ham and pineapple shouldn't be on a pizza anyway. Get it gone. And if you fancy a little garlic and herb dip just to complement it, £1.70. They're taking the piss. £3.75 for the tiny ketchup. Silly 400ml, just so you know. £3.75. Wear a mask. £3.90, and it's not even a litre. What's going on? And the shelves are empty. Fuck my life. £3.5p, 8 of these little shitters. They were always £1. What is going on? Since when did peas become so expensive? That is the smallest bag I think I've ever seen. Have a look. 545 grams. £3. It's getting ridiculous. So there we have it. That was the cooperative food. Robbing the people as usual.
I want to talk about buying houses in New Zealand versus buying a house in the UK. Buying a house in New Zealand, you go to see the house, you take a builder to see the house, you get the information on the house, a limb report, you find out the drainage, you find out all the things, and then you put in an offer, your offer gets accepted, and then you buy it and you pick a settlement date, and then you settle and you move in. Yeah, that's what happens in New Zealand. So let's go to the UK. In the UK, you go and see a house and you get like 10 seconds to look at the house. It's like, okay, I'll go and look at the house. And then in my head, I'm like, right, well, I'm going to need to get a builder to come around and check out the property with me. And then I'm like, do you have the limb report? Which is the information that you get that tells you about the drainage, the boundaries, the